Brazil after the country elected Dilma Rousseff as the next president. She'll become Brazil's first ever woman president when she takes office on January 1st. Rousseff beat her rival José Serra by more than 10 percentage points in the runoff election. In her victory speech, Rousseff said eradicating poverty in Brazil would be her main priority, and she promised to continue the policies of the popular outgoing president Lula da Silva. Her supporters were thrilled.
I am very happy because the first time the Workers' Party is like the most popular soccer team in Brazil. It is breaking taboos. The Workers' Party put a worker in power, and now it has put a woman in power, and she's going to do great work for the nation.
I am very happy because she is from my party, and she is a woman who won.
When she takes office in January, Dilma Rousseff will lead a nation on the rise. Rousseff's win was in large part due to her endorsement from the hugely popular outgoing president, Lula da Silva. He's leaving office with an 80% approval rating. In the 8 years he's been in power, more than 23 million Brazilians have been lifted into the middle class. Millions more have benefited from his government's social spending programs. Brazil has become the world's 8th largest economy and enjoys a new status alongside Russia, India and China as one of the so-called BRIC group of emerging economies. Lula has also boosted Brazil's presence on the international stage and secured the 2014 FIFA World Cup, as well as the 2016 Summer Olympics for Brazil. Let's get the very latest now from our correspondent, Teresa Bo, who's in Sao Paulo. Teresa, huge victory there for Dilma Rousseff, but she also has huge shoes to fill. She's never taken up elected public office. Does she have what it takes?
Well, we will have to see about that, Rita, although on election day here, the people that we spoke to were basically telling us that they would like to vote for Lula da Silva once again because he's so popular in this country. As you said before, around 80% of the population continues to support him. He was not allowed to run for a third time because the Constitution here does not allow it. But let's not underestimate Dilma Rousseff. She's a woman in her own, in a way. She has been involved in politics for a very long time. She has been Lula da Silva's Minister of Energy. She has been the Chief of Staff. But she also has a very, very interesting past. She was a guerrilla back in the 1970s fighting against the dictatorship in this country. She was captured and she was considered such a big catch that she was called by the military as Joan of Arc. She was tortured for several years here in this country. So she's a very interesting character, a very strong character. And many of the people we have spoken to say that she's a strong woman, that she will continue with President Lula da Silva's policy and that she's going to do a good job.
And if she's going to carry that policy and that legacy forward, what can we expect from her then in foreign policy?
Well, there hasn't been much debate about foreign policy here in Brazil, but if she's going to continue with what President Lula has done in this country, and that's what she has said in a way. In the last years, President Lula da Silva has increased and intensified relations here amongst Latin American countries from the left and from the right. He's a man that's been able to sit down with George Bush, but at the same time with Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. So he's been a man that has been able to charm the whole world with his charisma. He has voted against sanctions, for example, against Iran, but at the same time he has charmed the world with his charisma, a charisma that Dilma Rousseff has lacked. So we will have to see whether she's able to keep Brazil into this mediator position where this country is able to negotiate and have relations with what the United States and its allies call the rogue states and the rest of the world.
Interesting times ahead there for Brazil. Thanks very much for that, Teresa. That was Teresa Bo in Sao Paulo.